Welcome back to the second part of photosynthesis, class 7th. Today we will study the various factors which control photosynthesis. In their absence or presence, photosynthesis occurs. So first we will talk about chlorophyll. Chlorophyll, the green pigment which gives green color to the plant. It helps plant to absorb the sun's light and makes it available to the plant as energy to help combine carbon dioxide and water to form sugars and oxygen. So without chlorophyll, there won't be any photosynthesis. That is why only green plants or green parts of the plants carry out photosynthesis. If the plant leaves are yellow or not having proper chlorophyll, even then photosynthetic rate will decline. The next factor which we need is sunlight. In presence of light only, photosynthesis carries out, especially intensity of the light. As the sun rises and it goes overhead, the light intensity increases. So up till that time, the photosynthesis increases up to a certain point. After that, when the intensity becomes too much or too high, then the photosynthetic process may decline because excess of intensity of light increases temperature, and that slows the process of photosynthesis by breaking enzymes needed for photosynthesis. So sunlight duration, intensity and quality affects rate of photosynthesis. Okay, high intensity of light also destroys chlorophyll. So next we have temperature. A temperature of 20 to 35 degrees Celsius is extremely suitable for photosynthesis. When the temperature is low, the enzymes are not activated. Enzymes which catalyze the photosynthetic reaction, which help in the photosynthetic reaction, they don't function at low temperature, and at high temperatures above 40 degrees Celsius, these enzymes get decomposed, destroyed by strong or high temperatures. So a suitable temperature is 20 to 35 degrees Celsius when photosynthesis is at its highest. Next factor is carbon dioxide. You know, carbon dioxide concentration in the air is 0.03%. Okay. So if this percentage increases by 0.1%, then it is very good for photosynthesis. But if the carbon dioxide concentration becomes too much, up to 1% or more than 1%, then the photosynthetic process declines. Then another factor which is very important for photosynthesis is water. Water is the plant absorbs through soil via roots. So if water is not present, which is one of the important raw materials for photosynthesis, then what happens is the plant will not do photosynthesis, as water presence causes guard cells of the stomata to become swollen and open the stoma. So if water is less, guard cells will not swell up and stoma will not open. And when stoma will not open, naturally carbon dioxide also will not reach the plant cells to carry out photosynthesis. So carbon dioxide and water are dependent upon each other. Clear? Next, what happens to the products obtained in photosynthesis? Glucose is used by the plants to carry out their activities of growth, respiration, and other work, but most of it is converted to starch and stored in plants. Then amino acids, proteins, etc., fats are also made from glucose by the plants to make up new cells. Glucose is moved from one part of the plant to another plant by dissolving in water and carried by phloem, a conducting tissue in plants. It's called as translocation. So that's oxygen of gas which has been produced has already been released by the plant into the air. Next we have experiments through which we will check whether the factors which we talked about earlier are actually important. So the first experiment which we are going to do is to check that chlorophyll is needed for photosynthesis. We will take a plant which has leaves partly green and partly non-green. Okay, such a plant will be coleus plant, croton plant, money plant. And the first step when we are doing experiments on photosynthesis is to de-starch the potted plant. We have to remove traces of starch from previous photosynthetic process. So we put the plant in dark for 24 hours and the next the croton plant and put out of dark room and put it in the bright sunlight. After 4 to 6 hours we pluck a healthy leaf from the plant and carry out the starch test. Okay, the starch test is a very important procedure in which we first boil the leaf in water to soften it and to kill all living cells. Then we boil it in alcohol in a water bath to remove chlorophyll and the leaf becomes transparent or pale white in color. We remove traces of alcohol by washing in water and then we test with iodine solution. The parts of the leaf which were green and had starch and did photosynthesis turned blue-black. The part of the leaves which were non-green or other color didn't do photosynthesis, didn't had starch, and hence they remain pale white in color. So this shows that only those parts which had chlorophyll, the green parts, did photosynthesis. Hence the conclusion, chlorophyll is essential for photosynthesis. Next we check the presence of sunlight for photosynthesis. Here we need a potted healthy plant, black paper also, and we take the potted plant, de-starch it by keeping it in dark room from 24 to 48 hours, and next day we keep it in sunlight after selecting a healthy leaf and covering half of the leaf with black paper. Both the upper and lower side of the leaves have to be covered with black paper and sealed with Vaseline so that there is no leakage of air into it. Then the plant is kept in sunlight for 4 to 6 hours, and after the completion of 4 to 6 hours we pluck the leaf which we had covered part half with black paper, and we proceed with the starch test. When we do the starch test by boiling in water, then alcohol and testing with iodine, we find that the part of the leaf which was covered with black paper showed no color change because there was no photosynthesis over there, no starch formation, and the leaf is pale white in color. But the part which was uncovered, not covered with black paper, was exposed to sunlight. It had chlorophyll also and it did photosynthesis, as starch presence in it is proved with the help of iodine as it turns blue-black. So the part which was uncovered did photosynthesis, had starch, The part which was covered with black paper didn't do photosynthesis and had no starch in it. So the conclusion is sunlight is very important for photosynthesis. Next experiment which we are going to do is to check the presence of carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. In this, we take a potted plant and keep it in after destarching for 24 to 48 hours, we keep the plant in bell jar. Here we can take 2 potted plants because one potted plant will have carbon dioxide, the other potted plant will not have carbon dioxide, because in the bell jar we are going to keep a container of KOH or potassium hydroxide. This chemical can absorb carbon dioxide from air. So both the plants after destarching we have kept in bell jar in sunlight, with one having a container of KOH. After 4 to 6 hours, we check the leaves of the plant. We pluck leaves from both the plants. The plant A, which had KOH, shows no change with iodine. There is no blue-black color, showing that due to absence of carbon dioxide, photosynthesis did not occur and there was no starch formation. While the plant, which was normally kept in the sunlight, its leaves shows blue-black color with iodine during starch test, showing it had carbon dioxide and therefore photosynthesis occurred. So the conclusion is carbon dioxide is essential for photosynthesis, as plant A didn't had CO2 and it didn't perform photosynthesis. The last experiment which we are going to check is one of the products produced in photosynthesis, oxygen, whether actually the plant has produced oxygen or not, because the other product of the photosynthesis, starch or glucose, is being checked in every experiment with the help of iodine. So in this experiment we don't need destarching of the plant. What we need is just a hydrophyte, a plant which lives in water like Hydrilla or Vallisneria. We take such a plant and put it in a beaker full of water with an inverted funnel and an inverted test tube filled with water and place it in sunlight. After about 4 to 6 hours, we come to find that the plant is producing bubbles. Like soap bubbles, we find bubbles inside the test tube, and water in the test tube is lowering, coming down. Now this shows that certain process is happening, and since it is a green plant and sunlight is there, and of course hydrophytes can absorb carbon dioxide from water, so the process is photosynthesis, as is proved by checking the gas which we have collected. When we bring a glowing splinter or a glowing agarbatti near the test tube filled with gas, it starts burning with a bright flame, oxygen gas, which helps in burning. So this shows the conclusion that the hydrophyte or Hydrilla plant carried out photosynthesis and produced oxygen gas. So that completes the chapter, and next I am going to send you exercises. Please solve them and learn the chapter.